This is rough. Welcome to Ranger Reviews, a web series where we look at episodes of the TV show Power Rangers and then discuss them. Today we're exploring the third episode of the show Power Rangers in Space, as well as the 253rd episode overall, titled Save Our Ship. We begin this episode on the Mega Ship where TJ and Ashley are training, fighting these weird purple dudes. They're using the Simu deck, which Carlos confirms can be programmed to look like anywhere. TJ then shows off against this random monster and we get Mega Blue and Mega Yellow plastered across the screen. Hi, Mega Ranger. Andros stops the simulation and TJ and Ashley take off their helmets, talking about how amazing the Simu deck is. Was this just to show off their new toys? Alpha calls for them to come over because they're home at Earth. They get excited except for Andros. He tells Ashley he's never been to Earth, and Ashley says he's going to love it because there's beaches and music and the mall. What a shitty list of things to like about Earth. Speaking of Earth, Skull is looking through a telescope the wrong way and Bulk points it out. They think that if they find a new comet, they will be rich and famous. That's a stretch. They look up and see a UFO, freaking out. It then just disappears, so they pass out. On the megaship, the Rangers are leaving via the spaceship. Are they returning it to Masada or something? They take off and Astronema's actually watching this. Elgar is also on her ship apparently, and he explains that he's hungry. Yay, Elgar! He orders food from a Quantron, but Astronema demands that he just gets thrown off of her Dark Fortress. Elgar then says that Dark Spectre sent him, so she's stuck with him. Why would Dark Spectre send him? Then at Not the Juice Bar, we're introduced to the Surf Spot, a terrible set we'll only see like a couple more times. It's a new hangout spot for the teens, and it's terrible. Vulcan Scholar there getting food, and Andros seems super confused about everything. Yeah, same. He sees a surfboard going over to it on the wall and he knocks it off. A woman runs over, helping him, and she's pretty nice for someone that just saw a dude knock a surfboard off the wall. He asks what the surfboard is, and she explains, jokingly asking what planet he's from, and he says KO35, asking if she's heard of it. Okay, this fish out of water stuff isn't terrible because his actor is actually kind of making it work. The woman assumes he's a smartass, walking away. Andros joins the others, and he watches Bulk and Skull fight over some french fries. The woman comes over, and her name is Adele, bringing over french fries, which every customer gets apparently. Then Bulk is being a dick to Skull, telling him that he just gets water while Bulk gets fries and a shake because he brought his wallet. Then Andros puts his hair behind his ear like a middle school girl, and now he has freaking telekinesis apparently, and he puts hot sauce in Bulk's milkshake. Ashley definitely catches him doing this and she's a little freaked, but she doesn't say anything for some reason. Then Bulk almost drinks the shake, but he sees a professor in the newspaper who is an expert on aliens. He gives the newspaper to Skull, who is watching as Bulk drinks the milkshake, and he has to get water from the Rangers. Skull then comes over asking Bulk if a professor would even believe them, and he gives a whole pitch about the UFO they saw in front of Bulk and the Rangers. Bulk says that they need to leave, and the Rangers figure out that Astronema followed them back to Earth. Andros says they need to get the rest of the supplies and get back to the ship immediately. Here's a question, like why she's not attacking. As they're leaving, Ashley asks Andros if he just did that with the milkshake, and Andros doesn't know what a milkshake is. Okay, never mind, this fish out of water stuff is really gonna get annoying. Bulk and Skull are at a mailbox out in the middle of nowhere looking for Professor Phenomenus. They decide to leave and they hear a voice from a speaker, and they look inside the mailbox to talk to the professor. They say they saw aliens. Here he comes, parking a big truck right in front of them and stepping out. He's a very odd old man in a lab coat, and yeah, this is terrible. They start to explain how they saw a UFO and how no one believed them. Who did they tell? And Phenomenus gives them coats. The Rangers are leaving Angel Grove Electronics, and Andros tells everyone to follow him because something is wrong. They do, coming around a corner and stopping. Andros says they're being followed, and they drop their stuff. And then they see a whole army of Quantrons like they wouldn't have seen all those dudes before. The teens fight off the Quantrons unmorphed, which is cool, except there's an absolutely terrible song in the background. Like, not great. But they win and the Quantrons leave. They regroup and the Rangers figure out that they got followed back to Earth. No shit, we already established this. They need to get to the shuttle fast because they might try to destroy it. Why? Can't they teleport? Alpha lets the Rangers know that they have trouble, so let's rock it! The Morph Rangers tell Dekka to position the shuttle for launch and to evacuate the Masada buildings. How the hell is she gonna do that? The shuttle is magically positioned for launch, and here comes Phenomenus and Bulk and Skull that are at Masada, and Phenomenus explains that they're only there because they have a flat tire. Phenomenus then gets onto the ground, exclaiming that he's found aliens. They look under the truck of the Masada sign, and Phenomenus says that perhaps just a sign to the untrained eye. And then the Quantrons appear in front of the sign, walking by. Andros then says, "Oh no, Ecliptor, he's trouble." Have we met him before? I honestly don't remember. They start fighting Ecliptor, who is Astronoma's right-hand man, and he uses a cyber shadow on them before he tosses Andros around. He's going to kill the Rangers, and then Ecliptor says Andros isn't going to stop him, nor the other Rangers, who are apparently hiding because they're literally just not there, but then they're right there. Astronema wants the Astro Megazord shuttle destroyed, so she fires at Masada from space. The Rangers are freaking out, and Ecliptor just leaves. Come on. Alpha tells him to hurry up, so the Rangers start running, and then we get another take of the exact same line from Astronema. Was this episode done in an afternoon? The Rangers run forward while everything is freaking exploding behind them. They get into the shuttle and we'll see the exact same takeoff from the turbo finale. Wow, guys. The Rangers are going up and everything explodes beneath them as they get into Earth. I guess they made it? Astronema then says that the Rangers are clever, but she's more clever. How was any of this clever? She then says to lock Sada lasers on Ecliptor. They fire and wow, acting is rough here. Ecliptor is giant now, I guess, so the Rangers take the shuttle back. Why did you even dock it? They form the Astro Megazord in a super drawn out process and they fire the thrusters, heading back toward Earth. I feel like they could have just made the megaship come to Earth instead of everything else, but whatever. They fight against giant Ecliptor, hitting him back onto the ground. He then uses a spider eye lens to fight against them, which apparently is confusing to the Rangers. This entire episode's confusing to me. They get hit and they have no idea who the real Ecliptor is. How? I mean, it's always the center. Then Ashley finds out that it's the center, and they use their Astro Megazord saber to hit him. They then energize the saber, flying forward, slashing Ecliptor, who explodes into a million pieces. What? On the ship, Andros is clicking buttons. Okay. Carlos and Ashley walk in, saying that the last velocity junction is taken care of. Cassie and TJ come in, and everything is operating normally. So then when do these nerds learn how to run a spaceship? In the simu deck, Andros and Ashley go to a virtual surf spot to play pool, and Andros uses his power to make the cue float up to his hand, and Ashley now knows that it was him dumping the hot sauce. She wants to know how he did it, and he says that he practiced for years. Is no one going to mention how shitty that was to do to another human, and if you're a Power Ranger, you really should not do that? Nope, Ashley just wants to learn how to do it too. Andros says that if she teaches him pool, he'll give her some pointers on telekinesis. What is happening? On the Dark Fortress, Astronema now has new hair, and she wants to beat the Rangers at their own game. And she pets a turtle. Buckle your fucking seatbelts. She tells Elgar to lock Sada lasers on New York City. The sewers in particular. Elgar does it, and out of a manhole in NYC come the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Jesus Christ. They're confused as to what's going on, and honestly, same. The end. So yeah, this episode's a bit of a dumpster fire. I mean, I've seen this season probably 10 times in total in my life, and I never ever remember what happens in this episode. I probably won't be able to tell you what happened in this episode like a week from now. It's so bad. I mean, Andros is a dick, right? Like, sure, Bulk was treating Skull badly, but I feel like there's a conversation that could have just been had instead of like essentially poisoning the guy. The whole "we have to save our space shuttle" thing has so many plot holes because the Rangers have been seen teleporting already, so why did they take the damn thing to begin with is beyond me. And then they flew it all the way back into space to form the Megazord? Just call the megaship, tell Alpha to drive it down. If Deca can evacuate an entire Masada building, they can pilot the fucking ship down. The acting is all over the place in this episode, especially with Astronema, but I can't even fault the actress for it because this script blows. Overall, a really rough start to the season, and guess what? Next episode has the fucking Ninja Turtles in it, so take that as you will. Buckle up because we're not half shell in this, but until then, may the power protect you.